welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen, and you are welcome to another movie analysis, at least the colours of those movies. This one was released in 2004 to mostly negative reviews. About 86% of people who were surveyed did not like this film at all. There was some of the comments that were made about it by the critics was that it had superficial tendencies which were unlikely to appeal to an older viewer. It was mind-numbingly juvenile. One of the more positive reviewers said that it was an enjoyable movie about the trials of being a teen. But the ultimate Disney.com review said that one viewing may be more than enough. Oh, what did the audience have to say about it? It was a delightfully lively retro teen fun, oozing theatre girl charm. Another said it was spectacular and the costumes were so good. I'll have to agree with that, at least about the costumes. But most commonly, the sort of response was given by audience was that it falls short of being memorable after the first half an hour. Maybe. It had a budget of $15 million, which was quite a lot for that time, and it grossed $33.3 million, so it actually made its money back. And it won Lindsay Lohan the Teen Choice Award for Breakout Movie Actress. The film, of course, was Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. So let's now examine the colours that were portrayed in this movie. This film is a coming-of-age film, apart from being a pseudo-comedy. It has three primary character representations. The first of these is the hero. This is Mary, who prefers to be known as Lola, and we refer to her as that throughout this presentation. She's the primary character, and she is in need of growing up. She has dubious morality and dubious actions she carries out, and she's well-meaning but rather misguided in what she does. Then we have the moral guide. This is Ella. Ella is a friend, a mentor, or a confidant, and she offers an alternative pathway or an alternative vision to how one should behave. She's loyal and she's ethical. And then we have the nemesis. This is Carla. She's the foil for the hero's journey. She's the one against whom the hero has to battle in order to go through her growing up phase. She challenges the hero's morality, and she also lacks some sort of cohesive legitimacy, because ultimately she isn't as unlikable as most nemesis are likely to be portrayed. Let's have a look at the plot. Mary and her family have relocated from New York to New Jersey. She's very unhappy with the move. She's a fan of the group known as Siddhartha. On her first day at her new school, she meets a fellow Siddhartha fan in Ella. There's a recognition of some form of kindred spirit between the two of them, and Ella introduces her to Sam, who is not only a co-conspirator, but also eventually becomes Lola's boyfriend. There is mutual antagonism that is created almost instantaneously with Carla. Carla is popular, but she's also a bully. She has a posse of two other girls who follow her around, and she primes her posse to say or do whatever she wants, but she maintains the central position when all three are on the screen. Ella obtains the lead in the school musical called Eliza Rocks, which is an adaptation of the play Pygmalion. And this is despite the fact that Carla had wanted that role for herself and actually had expected to obtain it. During the early part of their friendship, news breaks that Siddhartha is breaking up. Lola is determined to attend their final concert, and she involves Ella in her scheme. But Ella has a great deal of existential dread about Lola's plans. Carla has parental connections which enable her to obtain tickets fairly easily. But for Lola and Ella, this is not so simple. Sam steals the Eliza dress for Lola to wear to the upcoming concert. Lola and Ella go to New York on a train with parental permission, but Lola loses their money, and so there are no concert tickets to be had. She's determined to attend the after party, and in going to the place where the party is likely to be, they are caught in a massive rain shower. Getting there a little late, they come across Stu Wolf, who is the lead singer and lyricist of the Siddhartha band, who drunkenly removes himself from the party and stumbles into an alleyway. They rescue him, but Stu's misconduct gets them all arrested. Lola's father comes along and rescues them, and in gratitude for his rescue, Stu invites both of them to the party and allows them into his bedroom where they can get a change of clothing so that they don't have to party in wet clothes. Back at school the next day, Carla denies that Lola and Ella were at the party. Lola had promised Ella that she would no longer lie, and so confesses to the taking of the Eliza dress, but those lies end up humiliating her. And so Lola sinks into a depression. And Carla, of course, takes over Eliza's role, whereupon Ella goads Lola into going back to perform rather than allowing Carla to win the role. Lola returns in costume to the play and challenges Carla, and having taken up the role, Lola is a great success. At the after party at Carla's home, Stu attends to return the necklace that Lola had left at his place at his party. Carla is humiliated, but Lola offers her a hand up out of an accidental ducking into a pond, and in the end, Lola decides that she and Sam can form a relationship. So what then of the colours of this film? Well, throughout the film, there are a large number of costumes, and that means there are numerous colours portrayed. But there is little cohesive strategy. It seems more like a display of fashion than it does of the characterization portrayal in the colours that are used. In the film, several of the costumes are multicoloured patterns, but I'm going to ignore those in favour of the primary visual impact that they make on the screen. There is an importance in the colours that are closest to the face. Those are the ones that we see mostly because these are the ones seen in close-up, and they're linked to whatever emotions are being expressed at the time. Examining the hero-friend dialectic, we find that Lola has most colours, but Ella has the least. Ella's colours are pretty consistent with her role as friend mentor. The hero nemesis dialectic, on the other hand, also sees Carla with a limited colour palette, but her posse always echoes whatever colours she is wearing, and they oppose Lola's colours in most scenes. Traditionally, the colours chosen for Carla's costumes are linked to the good-bad binary. So looking firstly at Lola's colours. The most prominent colour we find on Lola's costumes is black. Now, there are two signifiers for the colour black. One is sophistication and power, and the other is mourning and disappointment. This first costume that we see as her initiating fantasy is one of the signifiers of sophistication. There is initial fantasy about freedom in New York. Then she demonstrates her passion for Stu Wolf as her idol from the band Siddhartha. And then she's auditioning for the Eliza role, where she's wearing black along with grey and red. We'll look at those colours shortly. And then finally, in Stu's bedroom at the party, when they're getting changed into dry clothes, there she is again wearing black. When black signifies mourning or disappointment, it is with the reality of her new New Jersey home, then her reaction to the news that Siddhartha is breaking up, and finally the discovery that the concert is sold out and they cannot obtain tickets. White also signifies two different types of characterizations. The first of these is optimism and victory, and the second is also mourning, but this time it's a stubbornness, it's a feigned mourning. So looking firstly at the optimism victory, as she settles into her new bedroom and sets it up the way that her previous bedroom has been, she is in great joy. As she auditions for the Eliza role, she's also wearing a great deal of white. When she fantasizes herself as Marilyn Monroe dancing with Stu, again, she is in white. And when she celebrates the success of having attended Stu's party back at school, she's again wearing white. When she obtains the return of the Eliza role, once again, there is a preponderance of white. But white also signifies mourning and stubbornness. Here we see her as she imitates the ideas of becoming Gandhi. That is, meditation and a peaceful protest until she gets what she wants. There is also an attempt in white to distract Miss Bagoli, the drama teacher, from going to the costumes office when she knows that Sam is there trying to purloin Eliza's dress. Lola also wears a good deal of red. Here, red accompanies her costume as she has that initial audition for her role, and she sings despite being unprepared, and of course that gives her the role. When she's hatching plans to attend the concert, she dons a red hat in order to persuade Ella to come with her. When they're planning their purchase of scalp tickets, once again, she's wearing a red hat. Clothed in the red Eliza dress, she's hiding the motivations from Ella's parents, who seem to approve of their concert attendance. And then in that same costume later on, drenched to the bone, Ella realizes that Lola has been lying about the death of her father, who has just come to rescue them. And finally, at the Eliza Rocks concert, wearing that same red dress and this time a red cape as well, Lola enjoys musical accolades. Lola wears yellow as well, but not as much. Here she is declaring her love to the Stu Wolf's poster. When she learns about the Eliza Rocks modernization, and when she's demanding recognition as Eliza within the play itself, each time she appears in yellow, she's signifying some sort of emotional passion or loyalty to a particular idea of things. In green, in that same costume, she's arguing against the Eliza Rocks modernization. Carla goads her about her acquisition of the Siddhartha concert tickets. And when she discovers that the tickets are sold out and so there is an impediment to her attending the concert, she again is wearing green. When she recovers from her depression after Ella insists she return for the Eliza role, again there is an appearance of green. And in each of these cases, green signifies an expectation that is being challenged. Lola's blue is a little more prolific. Here, when she is looking at the cast list available for the Eliza Rocks concert, she's wearing blue primarily. When she undergoes the end of the world fantasy after discovering Siddhartha's breakup, again, she's wearing blue. She is wearing blue also in the dance-off challenge with Carla, which she eventually does win, and also when she is attempting dramatically to manipulate her mother. She again appears in blue. When Ella's Parents give permission for the two girls to go to the Siddhartha concert. Lola is wearing the prettiest blue that she wears throughout the entire film, and this gives an impression of some form of innocence. And finally, as she searches through her closet for the concert outfit she can wear prior to the theft of the Eliza costume, she again is wearing blue. Now, these blues always signify some sort of fantasy in the process of becoming real. Here, we have some sort of goal orientation that occurs every time she's in brown. For a start, she's heading to school wearing brown, but crashes into a tree because she's daydreaming. Then there is also the brown headdress that she wears when she's planning to persuade Mum to allow her to go to the concert. As she persuades Sam to steal the Eliza dress for her, again, she has brown. And finally, when Carla is goading her about the concert tickets, she wears that same brown jacket. In grey, Lola demonstrates her annoyance at Ella's parents' reaction to her and to her mother. And grey is also part of the audition costume that she wears prior to winning the Eliza role. At the Eliza Rocks rehearsal, she lacks concentration because she is aware that Sam is busy lifting the red dress out of the costume closet. And finally, during the concert itself, she's wearing grey as part of her education dance routine. Now here, grey signifies dealing with unexpected challenges. Pink, on the other hand, represents confidence that is challenged and then eventually restored. Here, she's wearing a pink skirt as she once again fantasizes about the end of the world because of Siddhartha's breakup. As she sinks into the pre-Eliza Rocks depression phase, she's again wearing pink. And for the concert finale, the pink is much brighter, much darker, and so it shows that her confidence has been restored. And it is absolute in the final scenes where she's wearing a pink dress when Stu returns her necklace. Orange signifies Lola's dealing with a crisis. The first crisis in which orange appears, not as a costume, but a very visual artifact, is the orange bicycle with which she runs into the tree. And later on, she's wearing orange trousers as she's searching through her closet for a costume to wear. Cyan is the one color that Lola wears only once. And this time, it signifies her confession. Here, what she has to say is not believed because Carla exposes the lies in front of the entire assembly, and so Lola is humiliated. Turning next to Carla's colors, she also wears black. And here it signifies both power and dominance. Here, the initial clash with Lola about her relationship with Ella. Here, she's trying on the school musical costumes, and when she shows off tickets that she's managed to acquire for the Siddhartha concert, she's again wearing black. Arriving at the concert party, she's clad in black feathers, and finally, with great glee, she unmasks Lola's lies and challenges her post-Siddhartha concert claims. In grey, Carla exhibits a great deal of disdain. Here, she's waiting for the results of the audition. Dressed in an aged woman's costume, she is also showing a great deal of disdain, but that also is part of the characterization. In red, her desire is realized, it's made real, but it's only a fake reality. As Carla wears the Eliza costume and pleads to take over the role because she's ready for it, and then later on pretending that Stu had come to her home to visit her rather than looking for Lola. In blue, she's expecting some good news through the auditions. In cyan, she realizes that her audition performance is a failure, and so she's very disappointed. In brown, she demonstrates her expertise in the dance-off competition and also in her ability to acquire the concert tickets. In white, she shows that she is victorious. Here, she's shopping for a dress after her acquisition of the concert tickets. And in pink, she's awaiting some form of recognition. Firstly, when she's awaiting the audition results. At the mall, as she declares her shopping victory, she's also carrying that same pink handbag. And later on, when Lola is nowhere in evidence, Carla waits for the opportunity to replace her in the Eliza Rocks musical. And finally, we have the yellow-green combination. Now, this is a costume that is actually a uniform, and so all of the girls are wearing it. But unlike Lola's version, where she is disputing the reality of knowledge that she's achieving, Carla is expounding that very same knowledge. She's ensuring that she's overheard with the advanced knowledge of how Eliza Rocks will change the format of the Pygmalion story. Looking now at Ella's colours, Ella's most prolific colour is pink, and it always indicates some sort of feeling of inferiority. Here, her initial connection with Lola makes her feel inferior because of Carla's intervention. When she's sharing Siddhartha fantasies with Lola, she demonstrates her desire for the second choice of the band's characters. When she's confessing to Lola that she can't tell lies, again, pink is prominent. And her lack of confidence that her parents would give permission for the girls to attend the Siddhartha concert comes through when she says, "I didn't know I could ask." In blue, she's constantly signifying loyalty, whether it's outlining her devotion to the Siddhartha band member or celebrating Lola's audition results. She also wears blue jeans as she's funding the dreams that Lola has created. And when she allows herself to be convinced by Lola to attend the concert regardless of having no tickets, she's also wearing blue jeans. She assists Lola's rehearsal practice, again wearing blue. And all of these are her loyalties to the various projects in which she is involved. But Ella is also seen in black. And here, when she wears black, it shows that she is disappointed with something. She's sharing Siddhartha's grief with Lola and is also pretty disgusted that her fellow students are not heartbroken over the Siddhartha breakup news. When she's handing out protest flyers about Siddhartha's breakup, she's still wearing black. And when Lola shares with her the scheme to approach scalpers for tickets, Ella once again is wearing black. This time it's a hat. And finally, in black, when she berates Lola about her depression, she expresses disdain for Lola's cowardice. In green, this is all about crisis of values. She's uncomfortable at Lola's lies about the concert tickets and her schemes. She's worried by the fact that no ticket purchase is possible. And when she reports the damaged shoe to her teacher, she is also wearing a green top. In brown, she's presenting a principled stance. She's supporting Lola's practice, but she also is threatened by the dad truth once it is outed, and so challenges Lola about her lies. In purple, she's both associated with delight and also catastrophe. The parental approval of her appearance for the concert gives her great delight. Being followed by a stranger starts to turn that into a worrisome situation. And finally, she becomes enraged when she discovers that Lola has been lying about the presumed death of her father. In red and white, there are feelings of dismay. She gives Lola her money for the scalper because she doesn't feel ready for that particular task. In grey, she feels exonerated and there is victory. She's excited at the retelling of the adventure that they've had at the Siddhartha party, and she's also delighted at Stu's appearance at Carla's home in the after party and alerts Lola of his attendance. So, in summary, what do these colours tell us about this film? Well, the colours have slightly different meanings for each character. Black is power held or lost. For Lola, it's sophistication, mourning, and disappointment. For Carla, it's dominance. And for Ella, it's also feelings of disappointment. For White, it's the opening up of an opportunity. Lola's opening up is all about optimism, victory, but it's also mourning and stubbornness, a fake mourning. For Carla, it's straight out victory. And for Ella, it's exposure. But remember, the exposure comes because she's also wearing red, which tends to add an element of danger. Red signifies risks being taken. Now, for Lola, it's all about determination and daring. For Carla, it's desire being realized, whether that is a reality or whether it is a fantasy. And for Ella, it's feelings of dismay, again, because the red she wears is accompanied by white. Yellow is about pleasure. For Lola, it's emotional passion and loyalty. For Carla, along with the green that's given her an added value, it's all about knowledge that she has. Ella doesn't wear yellow at all. Green is about opportunities being taken. Lola has her expectations challenged when she's in green, whereas Carla is expounding the knowledge she has, because when she wears green, she's also wearing yellow. For Ella, green is always a crisis of values. Then we have blue, which is about steadfastness. For Lola, it's her fantasies become reality. For Carla, it's expectation. And for Ella, it's loyalty. Brown is about ambition and goals. For Lola, it's all goal orientation. For Carla, it's the demonstration of her expertise. And for Ella, it's an adherence to principles. Grey is about experiencing change. It's dealing with the unexpected if it's Lola, but exhibiting disdain when it's Carla. Ella, on the other hand, sees grey as exoneration and victory. Pink is about needing support. For Lola, it's a challenge to her confidence. For Carla, it's awaiting recognition of her value. And for Ella, it's always about feelings of inferiority. Orange is about recovery, and only Lola is associated with orange, and it's because she's dealing with a crisis. Cyan is about isolation. For Lola, it's about a confession that's received badly, and for Carla, it's about disappointment. Ella doesn't wear cyan at all. Purple is all about dramatic experiences. And Ella is the only character that actually wears purple. And it's all about delight, but also catastrophe. Well, there is a legacy to this film. In 2024, a retrospective analysis of the film was made, and it was regarded then as the best portrayal of an adolescent girl's inner life that had been presented for quite some time. It's not the serious, lonely moments, it was said, but the vibrant fantasies that fuel crushes and obsessions of the moment. It was a film that was made by women, for women, in an industry that is historically dominated by men. So what was my reaction? Well, I had to watch it twice. Firstly, for the storyline, because I hadn't seen it before. And secondly, to separate the plot fantasy from the reality as I did my color content analysis. It did remind me of my own teen fantasy life, and I must admit, even though it wasn't intended for a person of my age, I certainly enjoyed the film all the same. Which brings me to some final thoughts. I need to thank two people, Larry, who runs one of the few remaining DVD rental shops in Australia and just happens to be in the town in which I live. Thank you very much, Larry, because without you, I wouldn't have been able to get hold of a copy of this film in the time limit that I had set myself. But more than that, I'd like to thank Blondie9909 for suggesting this film for review in the first place. If you have any suggestions for videos, please take on Blondie9909's initiative and request it. I'm always happy to look at a film I haven't seen before. Well, within limits anyway. All right, well, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. It certainly was a different story to what I normally look at, but hey, it's a movie and it was fun. And I hope that next time we meet again, you'll enjoy another film color analysis. Until then, may the colors of your life bring you joy and happiness and everything that you deserve. Bye.